The legend of Kattil Mekkathil Devi temple. Kattil Mekkathil Devi temple is a Hindu religious temple at Ponmana, Kollam in Kerala, India. Ponmana is an alluring coastal village nourished with abundant natural beauty and legends. It is situated between the backwaters and the Arabian Sea in the village of Ponmana, which is called the land of Manas. Kattil Mekkathil Devi is the Almighty, the ruler of every living and non-living beings, the greatest boon giver, the mightiest provider, accomplisher, and she bestows her blessings on all the people in the village. The temple is located in the west coast of Ponmana village, sharing its boundary with the Arabian Sea. Kattil Mekkathil Devi, the ultimate supernatural power, always blesses those who approach her. When we go through the legend of this temple, we should look into the geographical history of Ponmana. Up to 12,000 AD, Ponmana was a port area. From the ancient time onwards, everyone has been attracted by the beauty and majesty of this holy land. Its sky-touching sand dunes, mangrove forests and beautiful valleys. This holy land was nourished with vast paddy fields which resembled the granary of Kerala. According to ancient records, rather than the verbal statements, there were 3 palm trees and 2 sacred pools in the premises of the temple. Both of the freshwater ponds were utilized for temple purposes and later were used for public refreshment. As its successor, 2 wells and a palm tree can still be seen there. The rituals of the centuries-old temple are so traditional and are closely related to the legends of the temple. A day in Pushya month in 1781 AD, Raja Martandavarma, the great ruler of Travancore, was on his return after visiting the king of Odanad on a boat through T.S. Canal. In his nap, he had a dream in which the Devi appeared and gradually sunk in the sea. The king got up from his nap and soon entered the boat. Then he moved to the direction where he had seen the holy figure of Devi. He underwent deep meditation for a long time and reached the place where today's temple is situated. There he was blessed with the heavenly appearance of Devi before him. While he got up from his meditation, he felt the presence of goddess and he explored the place where the goddess had drowned. As per the order of the King Martandavarma, a palace was built on the bank of the backwaters for him and his successors to take rest when they visited the temple. Later, the place came to be known as Kottarakadavu. Long ago, there was an ettukettu, a kind of traditional home which has 8 entrances to its central courtyard in northern part of Panmana. Today the location where Kuttandara house is located. The inhabitants of the house were so popular and eminent persons who achieved the love and respect of Panmana residents. At that time, the natives of Panmana had to go too far to buy fertilizers and seeds for agricultural purposes. Once an ancestor of the family went to Alappuzha with his assistants. They reached the place named Chambakulam, where they found a girl crying. He consoled her and left the place. She was still crying when he returned. He took her with him. The news spread like wildfire. The little girl lived happily with the Kattil Mekkathil family. When she grew up, she got married to a young man belonging to that family. Once a brother and a sister belonged to the generation of that girl who had come from Chambakulam were caught by a deadly disease. Then the 4 scholarly persons from the northern part going towards the south reached there on foot. It was found that they are not only eminent astrological scholars but also masters in medical field. Hence, they happened to meet the siblings who suffered from unrecovered illness and decided to scrutinize the cause of this illness. Finally, on the basis of astrological evidence, scholars found that the goddess wanted to inhabit here in the family. This was the reason for the malady. This deity believed to be that girl who was brought to this house years back. Hearing this, the ancestor decided to bring the divinity here in their family. The scholars also suggested them to bring via waterways on the back of crocodile and insisted them to draw 8 lines on the position. She wished to dwell and place 8 devotional stones over there and light 8 lamps on all those 8 stones. The very moment in which they decided to do so, those siblings started to relieve from disease. On the way to that family, the goddess found a lamp in a family named Malail house and visited there first before approaching her desired site, and later they did the rituals that the astrological scholars suggest for. Gradually, the family decided to build a temple for the goddess and did so. An idol was placed firmly there, which was brought from Chenganur, a place well known for idol making. The whole family together looked after the temple, and many devotees started to come from various parts to be blessed by the divinity. The goddess bestowed her blessings on all those who visited the temple to seek her grace. During that period, there was a ritual named Yogeshwaran Thulal, which it is believed found solution for the problem that devotees encountered for years. A Tirumudi, a symbol of goddess carvings at the time of festival, to visit the houses nearby to provide the people with blessings. It is widely said that on the first day in which Tirumudi came into light, it rounded the temple with its full grace and suddenly disappeared. All the devotees witnessed this, and they were astonished and searched for it. At last, they found luminous light on the southern part of the temple and moved towards that in suspicion. Their intuition made it clear that the Tirumudi carrying the goddess approached the family which she had visited first, Malayil house, when the goddess reached the land first from Chambakulam. They continued the practice of visit using that particular house every year. During the festive season, before moving to the other house nearby. All these rituals practiced by the temple has been continued for years based on the myth and legend of this temple. In another occasion, the Tirumudi moved on to the depth of the sea with the one who carried it on his head. Seeing this, the followers and devotees prayed together to seek the blessing from the deity to free him back from the threat of death. With the power of collective praying, he came back from the sea with the Tirumudi safe. With regard to this matter, later it was found that a temple was situated in former times and the goddess decided to go back there. Chilapadikaram. The story of Kannagi and Kovilan denotes the myth of this temple in another way, in which it points out that there was a temple there in a bygone era and it has been considered as the origin of Kattil Mekkathil Devi temple. Added to this, according to the evidence got from Chilapadikaram in AD 176, if it is supposed to be there under the depth of the sea, then it might absolutely be the one talked about in Chilapadikaram. The main allure and pride of this temple is one of the peepal tree in the courtyard of this temple. It is veiled with the divine bell which is brought by the devotees from the Sri Kovil after the rituals performed by the priest in front of the idol and tied it over the tree after revolving around the tree 7 times. After tying this bell, the devotees believed that their wishes and hopes will be fulfilled by the goddess. The temple is renowned for the daily Pongal. According to the temple trust, hundreds of devotees attend the Pongal daily. The devotees bring the divine water from the well in the courtyard of the temple and they performed the Pongal rituals with the belief to get prosperity and attain salvation.